بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. In the previous lessons, we were looking at the intention, how late a person can make the intention for different fasts. We learned that in the month of Ramadan, the latest a person can make the intention is the Dahwatul Kubra, the Shari'i midday, on the day in the month of Ramadan. And for the another fasts, there are two types. When the day has been specified from before, then the latest he has to make the intention is the Dahwatul Kubra. And for the another fasts where the days have not been specified from before, he must make the intention for that another fast before the time of Fajr, before the beginning time of Fajr. And for the Nafal fasts, all the other fasts besides the month of Ramadan, the latest a person has to make intention for that is Dahwatul Kubra. And all he needs to have in his mind and in his heart is that I am fasting. That is sufficient for the Ramadan fasts and the Nafal fasts. The reason why a person does not need to specify that I am fasting in the month of Ramadan, because he is already in the month of Ramadan, so there is no need to specify the month of Ramadan. Merely if he just says that I am fasting during the month of Ramadan, then these will fulfill the fard fasts. Now today's question is, how late does a person have to make the intention for the qada of Ramadan? So the qada are the fasts which a person has missed, and he is now making the fast to make up for it. So for example, in the month of Ramadan, if a person has missed a fast, he now needs to keep the qada of that fast. He now needs to make up for that fast. So when he now needs to make up for that fast, what is the latest? How late does this person have to make the intention for this qada? The latest a person has to make the intention for a qada of Ramadan is the time of Fajr, the beginning time of Fajr. So the intention must be made during the time of suhoor, before the Subh Sadiq, for the qada of Ramadan. Now, if a person after the time of Fajr, he intends to keep a qada of Ramadan, the qada will not be fulfilled, but this will count as a nafal fast. So for the qada, in order for the qada to be fulfilled, the intention must be made before the time of Fajr, before Subh Sadiq. This is for the qada of Ramadan. When we looked at the ada of Ramadan, when we looked at the fasts of Ramadan, a person has until Dahwatul Kubra, until the Shari'i midday. But when it comes to the qada of Ramadan, when you're making up for the missed fasts, then the intention must be made before the Subh Sadiq, before the time of Fajr. And this same rule applies to kafara. Inshallah, later on, we will be looking at kafara in detail. Now, when a person has made a qada, when he's missed the fasts of Ramadan, does the qada of Ramadan receive the same reward as the fast? So for example, the reward that a person receives for fasting in the month of Ramadan, now that he's missed that fast and is keeping the qada, will that qada receive the same reward? In regards to this, the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has said that whoever breaks a fast in the month of Ramadan without any valid reason, then he cannot make up for this fast. He cannot make up for the reward of this fast, even if he fasts his entire life. If he fasts his entire life, he still will not be able to make up for that fast in the month of Ramadan. This, my brothers and sisters, is how blessed the month of Ramadan is, and how blessed it is to fast in these days. So we should not miss any of these fasts without a valid reason. So yes, if a person misses one of the fasts of Ramadan with a valid reason, then that is a different scenario of reasons such as traveling or any chronic disease, any illness, and so on. Inshallah, we will be looking at the reasons and the exemptions due to which a person is allowed to miss the fasts of Ramadan. Inshallah, we'll be looking at them later. Now, so we've established what the latest time is for to keep the intention for a qada, which is the time which is before Subh Sadiq, before the Fajr. We've seen that if you miss the qada of Ramadan, if you miss the fasts of Ramadan, even though you have to keep the qada, this qada will never be able to make up for the reward of the fasts during the month of Ramadan. Now, when it comes to keeping the qada, how late, meaning can one delay the qada? So for example, now that I have qada which is due upon myself, can I decide to keep it later, or do I have to keep it now? It's not necessary to keep it straight away, but it is sinful if a person delays it unnecessarily. So a person should keep it as soon as he can. As soon as he can, he should fulfill the qada. It's a sin if you delay it without any reason. And when it comes to the keeping the qada for the Ramadan, does the intention need to be specified? That I am keeping the first qada of Ramadan, I am keeping the second qada of Ramadan. The intention, my brothers and sisters, does not need to be specified. All a person needs to keep in his mind is that I am keeping the qada of Ramadan. I am keeping a qada of Ramadan. Even if he's got, let's say, about 3 or 4 qadas. If he's got 3 or 4 qada fasts to make up for, he or she just needs to keep in their mind that I am keeping the qada of Ramadan. And this will fulfill one of the qada fasts. So he or she will need to make this intention 4 times to make up for the 4 fasts. Now, if a person has qada from 2 different Ramadans, even though we've already established that it's a sin to delay the qada of Ramadan without any valid reason. But now let's take the scenario that a person has qada from 2 Ramadans. So for example, let's say in the year, let's say 2018, the Ramadan in the year 2018, a person had qada to make up for. Now, they never kept that qada, and in the year 2019, they've got qada in this Ramadan as well. So they've got qada from the Ramadan in 2018, and they've got the qada from the Ramadan in 2019. Now when he makes the intention, he or she will need to specify the year. They will need to specify the Ramadan. So for example, they will make the intention that I am keeping the qada of the Ramadan in the year 2018. And so on. If it's in the next year, then he or she will need to make the intention, I am keeping the qada of the Ramadan in the year 2019. This only comes, the intention needs to be specified when the qada is from 2 separate Ramadans. So my brothers and sisters, I hope you all understand this, and we remember these masail, and with these masail, when it comes to keeping, if anyone has to keep the qada fast of Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a tawfiq and give us good understanding. Ameen. Subhanallah bihamdihi, subhanakallahum bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.